to the big screen, and we're live. Live from New York. It's Saturday night. Not quite. Let's move this over there, move this over here. It's been a little while since we've all seen each other. Let's give people time to get in here. Let's close that. Close that. Let's play something, shall we? What do we got here? This one's fun. Let's make that a preview. Uploading it. And that took longer than I thought it would be. It's always when you get back into the swing of things that it can be a little crazy making sure everything works together. All right, we'll play something else. Sorry if that's too loud. Hard to tell how loud it's going to be when I send that out there.
I'm not a joyride, a hit and run. I thought I loved you and you thought I was fun. I'm moving on down the road. Watch me as I go, watch me as I go. Should I look both ways before you cross me, baby? 'Cause I don't break for boys. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. Got nothing left to say. Let's be on my way. Best of luck. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. I got a new love. He runs for miles. 67 fastback. Oh, it's just my style. We're headed down the road. Just enjoy the show. Watch me as I go. Should look both ways before you cross me, baby, 'cause I don't break for boys. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. Got nothing left to say. Let's be on my way. Best of luck. I'm moving on. I'm moving on.
And
I'm moving on. I'm moving on.
all right, let's get started. Turn that off. Here we go. All right. I'm a huge camera nerd, so I just bought a camera while we're waiting. I'll get to that in a little bit. Let's do the thing. Welcome back to Tech for Work, where I discuss the things that I found interesting in the tech and business world this week. My name is Jesse Nolan. I am your host and the founder of Tab Geeks. It's been a few weeks. Welcome back. I missed you all. It's been a little while since we did a live show, and what a busy bunch of weeks it's been. Also, I'm doing some testing of things in the rack over there behind me, and I'm very cheekily covering it with a Ubiquity t-shirt because I can't quite show you what I'm doing yet, but stay tuned for those videos that are hopefully coming soon. Yeah, last week was the Passover holiday, and I got back from Google Next and dropped everything and immediately went straight into holiday mode and tried to work as little as possible and spend some time with the family. But before we get into that, let's rewind even further and go back to Google Next. This was a wild event. It was amazing. It was incredible. I've got a vlog, so much of what you're about to hear now will show up in the vlog as well, but you get a sneak peek straight from the horse's mouth. Here's what went down. So Monday, I land in Vegas. This is the April the 8th, I think. I like to go a couple days before the event, usually the night before, just to make sure that I'm checked into my hotel. I drop all my stuff off. I charge all of the batteries. I'm well rested. So sorry, this was Monday the 7th. I fly in. I fly in a bit earlier for Google Next because well, as a GDE, there's additional GDE programming that we are privileged to have, and I can't exactly talk about that, but it is pretty cool, and they often will show us some cool things before they show everybody else, and so on. And it's something that if you are a GDE, you really want to attend, and this is where you get to meet and greet with some of the awesome people and learn and do some amazing networking and so on. So that was on the day before the conference started on Tuesday, but on Monday, I land in Vegas, and of course, I pick up my badge at the airport because that's the best way to do it. And then you don't have to think about it; it's done, right? Which is great. And of course, I filmed all that, and it'll be in the vlog. Um, I head over to the hotel, which personal preference, I stay as close as humanly possible to the conference venue because if you've ever been to Vegas before, it's a lot of walking. And just on the conference floor, you're going to be doing a ton of walking. And so you don't want to be running back to your hotel room 6 miles or having to take a cab or whatever it is just to get back and forth. It's just tedious and crazy and whatever. So not only that, you end up in a lot of pain because you're doing all that walking and you waste a lot of time. And so I booked my hotel a very long time ago, well before Google Next, to make sure that I got a room in Mandalay. And I'm checking into my hotel, and while I'm literally talking to the agent and checking into the hotel, my phone rings, and it's a certain VP who I've been working with, a VP at Google, for 2 years now, talking about doing a behind the scenes video, showing the setup, showing, the backstage, showing the arena, showing kind of all of the facts that go, not all of, but a lot of the facts that go into making a conference of this magnitude. And it is massive. It's one of the largest, it's obviously not the largest. CES is a million people or something like that. This is not that big. This is only 35,000 or so. However, it's still a really, really large conference, and I wanted to be able to do a video showing what that entails. So we've been talking about it, and okay, yeah, sure, it's going to happen. Maybe you never know with these things, especially when it's a PR, folks or whatnot. And so I'm checking in, and my phone rings, and it's the VP and says, "When are you landing?" It's like, "Well, I just landed. I'm checking into my hotel." And they're like, "All right, great. Can you meet in 2 hours?" Or it wasn't even 2 hours. It was like an hour and change. And I was like, yeah, let me drop my gear and grab my gear and drop my stuff, grab my gear and let's go. And so I did. And that then from there I was off to the races. And this is 2 days before the event even starts. And I got it. I did a whole bunch of behind the scenes. I got to play. They had on the show floor a cool AI kind of measure your shot when you're doing a basketball shot to show you how terrible you are or where you need to improve and things like that. They use 9 different pixel phones. And so I got to test that out pretty much before anybody. And I have a video talking about that and some of the tech behind it and what goes into it. And so I'm going to be putting all of that content into a behind the scenes video and just doing one dedicated video for behind the scenes. Definitely stay tuned for that. Again, from this point forward, it was nonstop. So day one for me, technically day two for me, day one, or minus one really, because it was the day before the conference actually started. I had the GDE special programming day that I mentioned before, and that was awesome. It was at another hotel, and we basically were able to do all of the things I talked about before, networking and talking to some interesting folks from Google and learning and working together and stuff like that. Um, that night, we were invited to a special event at the Sphere. Now, if you haven't seen my video from the Sphere, it has 100 and almost 150,000 views on YouTube. Definitely go and watch it after this. When this is done processing on YouTube, I will try and put an end screen to link to it. If not, just go to my channel. It's easy to find there. Google blew our minds with this, and I had a little birdie who told me basically, if you can, you're going to want to film this, and you're going to want to bring a camera, and you're going to want to get this on film or digital film, I guess. Put it on SD card. How would you even say that these days? I don't know. Record it. You're going to want to record it. Um, and so I get to the Sphere, and the security guard goes through my different stuff, and in my pockets I generally carry this flashlight, which I did have with me. I also generally carry my Leatherman, which obviously I was flying to Vegas, and big time security, they're not going to let you in with knives and tools and stuff, and so I left that at home. But the security guard had an issue with my flashlight, saying, "Are you sure it's not a pocket knife?" I'm like, "No, no, no, I left the pocket knife with my Leatherman is my pocket knife, I left it at home. This is just a flashlight. I turned it on, showed them, etc." She calls over the head of the security, and at this point, I'm holding my phone and my AirPods and my wallet and my camera, which is, the small, it's not in the case here, but small, what do you call it? The Osmo Pocket 3. And I had that in my other pocket. The Sphere has a very, very strict bag policy. You can't bring in bags that are bigger than 6 inches, which is larger than most purses. And so, I basically emptied everything else out of my pockets that I was carrying for the conference, business cards and so on, and stuffed the camera in my pocket. And fully charged battery should have been fine. And the guy comes over and he looks at my flashlight and turns over. He's like, "No, no, no, that I don't have a problem with. I have a problem with this, with your camera." And I'm looking at my camera and I'm like, "Okay, well, Google told me to bring this, so I'm here on behalf of Google, covering the event for Google. Like Google brought me in. Obviously, opinions of my own, etc. But Google brought me in, and I'm here to cover this event. And I was told to bring a camera to this event." And he's like, "Okay, that's fine, but the Sphere policy is no selfie sticks." I'm like, "Dude, does this look like a selfie stick to you?" And the camera is in it, and fine. It had a little bit, the battery sticking out of the bottom. I took the battery off, and I don't even know where the camera is at the moment. Oh, it's right in front of me. I'm an idiot. So I took the battery off. I'm like, "Dude, this is just a battery. It's just an external battery pack and tripod mount. I didn't have a tripod with me. There's nothing extendable on here. It's just a camera." He would not budge, and so um, this is where things get crazy. Is he's like, "Look, I understand that your phone takes the same quality video as your camera here, but because it's a selfie stick, it's not. But because it's a selfie stick, you have to lock it away with security." I'm like, "All right, fine, whatever. I'm not going to argue with this guy. I want to get into this event. I'm holding up the line. Where's security? Where are the lockers so that I can lock this up?" "Oh, go past security, go upstairs, and there are lockers there, and you can lock it away and everything, and then you can pick it up after the event." And I'm like, "Really? Upstairs, past security? Okay, thanks, bye." And continued through security, went upstairs, and I hope he doesn't see this. Didn't go anywhere near the security lockers. Now, that being said, the Sphere is owned, I think, owned and operated by MGM, or it's an MGM property, something like that. MGM is, shall we say, incredibly, incredibly strict about people who break their rules. So I kept the camera in my pocket all night long. And I tell you, incredibly strict, and I mean this. They actually have policies where if you are working for a law firm that is suing them, you are banned from all MGM properties worldwide, and they use facial recognition software where they put your photo and your face into it, and then they will ban you from things like Madison Square Garden in New York City, or different locations wherever they have around the world. If that software picks you up, you are banned. There was a guy who criticized the basketball team or something and made a T-shirt making fun of it. They banned him. He went to a concert. He couldn't get into the concert because he had been banned from another one of their facilities. So I was not risking it, but now I'm going, okay, I have it on good authority. This is going to be one hell of an event. I want to film this. I got to film this on my phone. Meanwhile, I start massively deleting all of the apps that I could find that were taking up a lot of space. Spotify's gone, that's 10 gig. YouTube's gone, that's another 10 gig. Like all of the different apps on my phone that were taking up a ton of space, I just start wiping them out. All of my videos that I had already uploaded over to my computer, delete those. All the photos that I had already deleted, delete those. Delete like anything cached, anything I didn't need. Free up as much memory on my phone as humanly possible, because, and I mean, the cell phone network there is not great, especially when you're in a place like a Sphere. And I didn't have time, even if I wanted to try and upload some more stuff to my phone, whatever. So, and I've had this issue on my phone for a long time where I upload all of my photos to Google Photos, but for whatever reason, because I just keep restoring every time I get a new iPhone each year, Google Photos doesn't recognize, I don't know, 6,000 of the photos as having been uploaded, even though they were uploaded by Google Photos on a previous phone. So there's a feature when you do the cleanup in Google Photos where it'll say, "Okay, these have all been uploaded to Google Photos. I have them. They're secure. They're free to delete." And it'll delete them for me, and then I can go on my phone and I can, go into recently deleted and delete the photos from there. This glitch means that it's using up something like 100 gig of space on my phone. It's one of those things that it's like, okay, it's a 256 gig phone. I'll get around to it. I'll fix it. It's not usually that much of an issue. I can even film videos of my kids in full 4K 60, which is what I like to film in, and it's usually not a problem. But here I'm like, okay, I'm going to be doing a lot of filming. I got to start getting rid of a ton of this stuff. So I got rid of a lot of stuff and I started filming it. Now, what this event was, and again, I'm the only one that has a almost full recording of this. And I say almost full because I ran out of space on my phone a couple times and then had to go in and delete some more stuff, free up some more things so that I would be able to continue videoing it. But I was the only one who sacrificed my hand and sat there with my phone filming basically the entire event. And I put it up on YouTube with some thoughts. It was mind blowing. What they did is because they worked with Warner Brothers and special effects folks and the Gemini team to utilize AI. And, this is going to be somewhat polarizing for some people because some people really hate AI, apparently. Just look at the comments on this video. And I guess I got some of the facts wrong that I was pretty sure I was just quoting from the presentation that we had there, but whatever. Essentially, they took The Wizard of Oz, which was filmed on 4.3 back in the day because that was the tech of the time. That was the cameras that they used. And they used AI to blow it up, to expand the scene outward. They're not just showing a 4.3 square on a screen the size of the sphere, which is like IMAX on freaking mega steroids. They actually used AI to fill in the same style and utilizing the knowledge of everything that we know about Wizard of Oz to fill in the details of the frame. So, for example, if Dorothy was in a field, it would spread out the shot and show the rest of the field based on other establishing shots that had been made before that particular shot, and put it all together so that it looks as cohesive as possible. It did a very good job. There are some glitches, however, it's not fully done yet. It's going to be released in, I think, the end of August, and only at the Sphere for now. I don't know if they're going to be releasing it elsewhere, like such as in 3D movie theaters around the world, which I really think they should because it's incredible and it was amazing. But the 4D experience of the Sphere is really something special. They have all the seats have subwoofers in them. They're all rumble seats. They're all the sound is incredible, and they have the ability to they have big ass fans that are on the floor that blow wind everywhere. So the hurricane scene, lightning flashing, and they've got actual strobes that flash and whatever. Like it was really immersive. It felt like you were there. It felt really, really incredible. And this, I think, is the next level of entertainment. Like we will continue down this road as more and more movie theaters over the years will be able to spin up a kind of setup like this, where you'll be in a nearly full immersive experience. And I imagine one day it'll be full 3D, full 360, etc. With or without glasses, preferably without. The glasses are just uncomfortable, especially if you're wearing them for a long, long period of time here. But essentially, they did the whole movie, and they didn't show us the whole movie because part of the event was talking with the people behind it. So you had Sarah Kennedy, who's a head of marketing, one of the heads of marketing at Google. She's usually involved with these big spectacle like events. She also introduces the band at Google Next every year, which is super cool. And so she was on stage. She introduced TK, who's Thomas Kurian, who is the CEO of Google Cloud, as well as Sundar Pichai, who's the CEO of Google. And they had, for the first time ever on stage, the head of the Sphere. And it was it's his own. He owns it. It's his company. It's his project, etc. And we had a fireside chat Q&A with them talking about this and how they put it all together. And it's really, really incredible. So I'll save you all the details because we have more to talk about here. But essentially, it was incredible. It's amazing. Go watch the video if you want to hear more about it. And I did manage to get the video, even though the Sphere tried to make it really difficult for me to get away with that. So I'm glad I did because it's really resonating with people, and I'm the only one that has a video of it. So I guess that makes me special. Okay, day one of Google Next, the next day, bright and early, we had the keynote. Keynote starts super early, so we got online pretty early on in the day to be able to get good seats. I was not on the floor because that's usually analysts and press, but we had our own section for GDEs, which was I was actually in the first row of the arena, the seats around the floor, and so I got some really cool shots there. And I didn't film it this time. I'm doing an experiment, seeing if I can just get away with using the footage of the live stream, or if I have to go back to filming it each year with my camera. And I actually just bought another camera, which I'll talk about in a minute here. But that'll even make it more interesting to work with. But essentially, it was your usual fanfare, amazing, awesome keynote. And because Sundar Pichai was already in town for the Sphere event, or maybe it was vice versa, he actually came out on stage. We did not get a NVIDIA Jensen Huang presentation this year, unfortunately, but we did get Sundar, so that's pretty awesome. And yeah, I mean, the keynote's available. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's always a good show. Lots of good stuff. And then I was fortunate enough to be selected by Google to record my show live on the show floor. And it's live, but it's edited, so it's being produced right now, and they're going to send it to me, and then I'll edit it and put my my touch on it, and then I'll release it to the channel. So like and subscribe if you haven't done already. It'll probably go up on X, but not LinkedIn. LinkedIn, I'll just post a link to the YouTube because again, LinkedIn uploads are silly in their restrictions. But I was able to record a whole conversation about Starline. If you're not familiar with Project Starline, it's Google's 3D replacement for Google Meet, and essentially the way it works is that you sit in a room and you have a booth in front of you and it's a screen, but it's 3D, no glasses. Like we mentioned before, glasses are cumbersome and annoying. It's 3D as is. You're sitting in front of it, and the demo goes as follows: you sit down, they start the meeting, and it looks like the person is literally sitting across from you across from the table, across from you on the table, or not on the table, but you know what I mean. And you're able to experience this. They had demo booths there. I actually tested this also at IO last year. I'm likely going to get another test of the tech again at IO this year, which I am definitely going to. That's now confirmed. I think the last time I was live, it was not confirmed. So a little tangent there. But I digress. So essentially, I got to talk to somebody from the go-to-market team who's a friend that I've had on the show a couple times in the past and spoken to over the years, and has been a great resource. And he was able to talk about some of the things that are coming, and what they're doing, and they're now making it a shippable product, and they're working with HP to release that. Hopefully soon. I don't know. We'll have to find out. But that was really cool because I got to film the interview live on the Google Next show floor with people walking around behind us, and it was in the community meetup area, and it was all professionally produced. They had a team of like 3 people managing cameras and microphones and ambiance and production and the whole thing. So really cool, and thank you Google for letting me do that. And then I got to do that show. So stay tuned. They were supposed to get it to me, I think, last week. Hasn't happened yet. So at some point here, it will happen. Checking the comments over here, nothing yet. Okay, feel free to drop your comments. Oh, one thing that I wanted to put out there for the comments, and I should have done this at the top of the show, but I'm a little scatterbrained because I'm still getting reorganized from everything here. I think I'm going to switch the show to Friday. And the reason for that is because, well, I was doing Tuesdays because for me, as a production day, Tuesday is my filming day, and it's the day that my wife is at the physical office, not working from home. And so the studio is quiet, and I have no risk of her meetings bleeding over into the microphone. And so this is the day that I record everything. That being said, filming this takes up like half the day. Doing the show takes up like half the day after, the recording and the production and everything. And so that cuts into a lot of the time that I have to then go and film the rest of the videos that I'm doing. Today also I have a funeral to go to, unfortunately. So it's going to throw off my production a little bit more, but c'est la vie, such is life. If any of you are significantly opposed to me putting this show out on Friday, doing a live show Friday mornings, drop it in the comments, drop it on Twitter, drop it on, wherever you're watching or listening. Send me a note and let me know if there's a reason why I shouldn't. And I'm going to be taking a look at the analytics as well. It does look like some people are, watching this a couple of days later. So I guess it's really maybe not so relevant when I put it out. People will watch it or listen to it when they get around to it. I did note that there are some who are listening to it on their Monday morning commute, and so they save today's show all the way through until Monday, which means you're behind on the times. I mean, my stuff is pretty breaking news, pretty up to date. So you're not necessarily behind the times, but you are not necessarily up to the minute either. And so, I think it'll be good to bring it over onto Friday, and it'll be nice. So if you have any objections to that, let me know, or if that works better for you, let me know also in the comments. Okay. The end of day one at Google Next is parties. Usually this is where everybody gets dinner, but you go, there's a lot of sponsored events, and you just go and you network and you hang out with people, and that's usually the entirety of the day. Well, it's day one night. For me, it was day three. I feel like I had been there a month at that point. Um, Moving on from there, day two. And the weird thing here is that I was doing so much here, whether from filming or meeting or networking. I actually only made it to 2 sessions. I went to the main keynote. I didn't even make it to the developer keynote. Sorry to friends of mine who were involved with that. But I definitely will be watching the recording. Um, I hosted the official Google Workspace meetup. I say hosted, but I co-hosted it. I had a Googler there who was hosting it with me, and we partnered up on that. And the goal was essentially this: every year, we as workspace admins go to Google Cloud Next, and there's 30,000, 35,000, 40,000 people there, and they are um, mostly cloud folks, mostly cloud developers. It's a cloud development conference, right? But it's also a workspace conference because Google has not listened to me and split it into its own conference yet. Hopefully, one day they will. But it's impossible or nearly impossible to find and network with other workspace admins. And so for years, I've been asking them, hey, can we do something where we actually have a meetup where this can happen? And now, years ago, back in, no, 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 2017, 2018, we had a workspace admins meetup. And unfortunately, they scheduled it at exactly the same time as the session where they were announcing Google Voice for Workspace. Now, where do you think everybody went? Of course, they all went to the announcement session because this was a big announcement and most people wanted to hear it. There was a little bit of, multiple overscheduling this year as well, but we got to do the session. We had over 50 people there, which was, I think, either the largest or the second largest of the different meetups that they did for the different categories of the different communities that they have. And it was a great success. And I appreciate each and every one of you who came down to what do you call it, to say hello and got to do some networking. I saw a bunch of business cards crossing, exchanges happening, which always makes me very happy. So that happened. And then I recorded a second show on the show floor, which is already out there. That's my best of workspace updates from Google Cloud Next. So that video is already out there if you haven't seen it. So that was really cool. That wasn't using their equipment. That was using my equipment, similar to the way that I did it last year and the year before as well. I keep minimizing and shrinking my setup. Now it's just the Osmo, the Pocket 3 and the DJI mic minis, which is what I've used for all of my content this year, and has been going great. Whereas 2 years ago, whatever the last year was that we were still in San Francisco, I had, 5 mics, 4 cameras, the whole massive wired setup, XLR mics and cameras and the whole nine, and that was just insane. So, yeah, I didn't do that again, and I have to show off my production setup. I still brought a bunch of gear, but it wasn't anywhere near as extensive. So it was really nice to be able to just hop on the desk because nobody else was using it and record that with a buddy of mine, Rowan Manson, over from Cobry, the Scottish workspace partner. So that was pretty much it. That was day 2. Then there was a day 3 on Friday. However, I had to get home because if I didn't, my wife would kill me because Passover was starting that night, and there are things you need to do to prepare for Passover. It's a big marathon holiday, and we have this crazy thing where we don't use any of our normal dishes throughout the year for Passover because it can't be the normal food. You has to not have any of the the food that you're not allowed to eat, the leavened bread, etc. And so we get all new dishes or paper or what do you call it, disposable stuff because that's a little bit crazy. So it's a big holiday. It's a big thing with the family, big thing with the friends, with the kids, etc. And we actually had friends coming in from out of town to stay with us. So yeah, I had to get home, or my wife would have killed me, and I would not have been able to do any of this wonderful stuff if I'm dead. So that was the end of my Google Next experience there. I will be doing, like I said, the vlog and the behind the scenes and the Project Starline video, and then we'll see whatever else I can, bring to you that I think would be interesting here. So that being said, being out of production for 2 weeks means that I am way behind on other production. So Ubiquity, my other favorite topic to talk about outside of Google, sent me a box of their accessories to show off. So some of them I had, some are new, some they sent me. Even if I had them, so I'm gonna be working on a video showing those off, showing what we can use them with, stands and mounts and accessories that go with all of their different products, the access points and hard drives for switches and other stuff that you would use that you could buy from other folks, but Ubiquity has really, really good options, and they kind of want to show that off. And so I'm going to be doing a video showing that off as well. And I have a couple of other cool videos that I'm working on. And um, I'm about to double the size of the studio here. Last time on the show, I talked about the fact that we're doing that. We are doing some construction. So right now, I'm sitting in a 10 by 10 space, and essentially, what you see behind me is about 10 feet wide, and then I've got 10 on both sides and 10 in front of me, and it's just a 10 by 10 square. Now I'm doubling the space. I'm gonna have a dedicated, not at my desk, video recording setup. So that's gonna be pretty cool. And if you're interested in the layout of that, go look at the last live show that I did because I actually shared the screen and and the design that I have for that. And I'll be making a video about all of this, which brings me to the camera that I mentioned that I literally just bought while I was waiting for people to get online and for all of the processing and syncing up to happen. I bought an Insta360 X5, which was just announced today, and I watched a whole bunch of videos on it this morning and went, wait a minute, that's going to be incredible for documenting construction and building a new studio and what all that's going to look like. So it's going to be a mess. There's going to be stuff everywhere. It's going to be terrible. And then I'm going to film while I put it all away and start setting up how to build out a proper YouTube studio as just one person. This is a one man production. It's just me. This is what I do. I love it. I love playing with all the tech and the toys and the gear and everything. So the Insta360 is a incredible 360-degree camera that you can take the frame and use it as if it were flat, even though it's a 360. And this is tech has been around for a decade or so, but they've gotten really really good at it. And so this just came out this morning, and it films in 8K or uses 8K lenses to film 360 degrees, and I'll be able to get beautiful 4K footage out of it. And I'm going to be utilizing that to film all of this and then taking it out and testing it and doing some more fun with it. So I'll do a review on that as well. I think it's really, we've reached the point with 360 cameras where, similar to what I use with the Pocket 3 here, is it's compact, it's fantastic, it's incredible, and it's so versatile that you can just grab that, throw it in your pocket, and have a whole production studio basically in your pocket. And hey, maybe the Sphere will think that it's not a selfie stick because it has a screen or something. I don't know. We'll see if I can sneak that in next time I go and not get in trouble with that. Or I can use it to record the entire 360-degree surrounding setup of the keynotes when I go to Google Next. Or I am going to I/O, as I mentioned before. So I will definitely bring it with me to I/O, and that'll be really cool to be able to film a lot of that as well. So that's pretty much what's been going on. Like I said, I've got a lot of other videos in the works, a couple of other Google things. I'm talking to the Google team about doing some hardware stuff as well. A couple of videos talking about that stuff. I have a lot of boxes in here that I have to go through, and all of those boxes have things that I'm going to be making videos on. So it's probably going to be like, a few months here, I think, of heads down, lots of work, lots of production, many videos per week. I put out, or in total, I'm going to put out 9 videos here. That's 9 videos over everything from Google Cloud Next. I think 4 or 5 of them I have already published. This one sort of, I guess, could count as one to bring it to a nice round 10, because this video was pretty much mostly about Google Next. The vlog is going to obviously have footage of all of this and show off, the adventures that I went on, and will be fun to watch. Even though you heard a lot of the story, I have a lot more details that I'm going to be showing off in there. And then also, of course, the behind the scenes is going to be really cool. And then I've got some Ubiquity stuff coming up. So stay tuned. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, hit the bell, like, etc. Do the comments over on the other socials as well, so that those platforms know that you love me and that they should show it to more people. And I appreciate all of you for being here. So I'm going to shut this down now. I got some filming to do, and finish working on what's behind the t-shirt back there, and have some fun, and stay tuned to the channel. So thank you all again, and talk to you next time on Tech for Work.